The 1950s marked a golden era of post-war optimism in America. Cars weren't just vehicles. They were status symbols, lifestyle statements, and rolling reflections of success. Automakers raced to create machines that looked like something out of a science fiction movie. But not every car lived up to the hype. Some looked futuristic, but drove like a bad idea made real. Today, we're diving into a list of the most misguided cars in American history. Not to mock them, but to uncover the technical design and strategic missteps behind each one. Ford Crestliner, number 12, 1950, Ford Crestliner. In the post-war car boom, American automakers raced to create standout models to lure buyers back into showrooms. Ford joined the fray with the Crestliner, a sedan whose standout feature was a black vinyl roof. Yes, a car hyped for having fake leather stretched across the top. At the time, a vinyl roof might have seemed bold, giving off a sporty, upscale vibe. But beyond the surface, the Crestliner offered little else. The same old flathead V8, standard suspension and steering, and no innovative features. Buyers expected a different driving experience and walked away disappointed. Worse, the vinyl roof was divisive. Some thought it was cool, but many saw it as cheap and gimmicky. The bigger issue beyond the roof, the Crestliner had no clear advantage over competitors like Chevrolet or Plymouth. Ford discontinued the Crestliner shortly after. Despite its classic charm, it faded into obscurity because it symbolized a mindset of prioritizing appearance over real substance. Number Mercury Monterey, 11, 1951, Mercury Monterey. At first glance, the Mercury Monterey looked like the American dream. Long, sweeping lines, shiny chrome, elegant proportions. Ford positioned it for buyers who wanted something fancier than a basic sedan, but weren't quite ready for a Lincoln. And in terms of looks, Monterey nailed it. It looked like the kind of coupe a movie star would drive, stylish and modern. But then you actually drove it. The trouble started when you pressed the gas pedal. Under the hood was a flathead V8, enough for city cruising, but far from exciting. The heavy steering and oversized body made driving the Monterey feel like pushing a couch on wheels. Inside, it was roomy and refined, but not much more than cheaper rivals. And with a higher price tag, no standout technology, and underwhelming performance, the Monterey quickly faded from the spotlight. Today, it's remembered as a fashion car. Good-looking, but lacking the guts to become a lasting icon. When style outpaces substance, a car may turn heads, but it won't stay in hearts. Chevrolet El Camino, number 10, 1959, Chevrolet El Camino. The idea of combining pickup utility with coupe comfort sounds great, at least in theory. That's exactly what the 1959 Chevrolet El Camino set out to be. A stylish two-in-one ride ready for both cruising and hauling. But in reality, the El Camino lost its way. Built on the Chevrolet Impala platform, the El Camino inherited the flamboyant styling of the 1950s. Massive tail fins, low stance, sweeping lines, but that made it look more like a showpiece than a workhorse. It lacked serious payload capacity, had a small bed, and rode too low for real truck duties. On the flip side, as a car, it didn't offer the interior comfort or refinement of a traditional sedan. The cabin was cramped due to the pickup design, leaving drivers with a compromised experience. Not quite a car, not quite a truck. At the same time, Ford launched the Rancherero, a similar idea, but more balanced and functional, which quickly stole the spotlight. While the concept was bold, the 1959 El Camino proved one thing. When you try to do two things at once, you might end up doing neither well. Number 9. Lincoln Premier, 1957. Lincoln Premier. If you wanted to turn heads in 1957, the Lincoln Premier was your ride. With flashy design, chrome everywhere, and a hulking presence, it proudly screamed, "I'm peak American luxury." The problem? It was so over the top it became overwhelming. At nearly 19 ft long and over 5.0 maneuvering it through city streets was a nightmare. The front was bulky, the rear sat high, and poor visibility made it feel more like piloting a ship. Even with a powerful V8 under the hood, the car was sluggish and guzzled gas, even by 1950s standards. Inside it was indeed luxurious, thickly cushioned seats, premium materials, and plenty of electric gadgets. But beyond the sparkle was a lack of innovation. While rivals like Cadillac were introducing cutting-edge tech, Lincoln seemed stuck in place. With a hefty price tag, oversized frame, and underwhelming real-world performance, the Premier failed to stay competitive. Today, it's remembered as a relic of an era when American automakers chose big, bold, and brash over refined and effective. Number 8. Buick Limited, 1958. Buick Limited Buick was once a hallmark of accessible American luxury. But the 1958 Limited, it felt more like a tone-deaf attempt to outshine everyone and failed. At over 19 ft long and nearly 5.0 lb, it was more yacht than car, especially in a time when city streets and parking spaces were much tighter than today. Under the hood sat a 364 in V8. Sounds powerful, right? But the fuel economy was laughably bad, often dipping into the single digits. And while the interior was plush, leather seats, full power accessories, it still didn't add up to a car you'd actually want to drive every day. The real issue wasn't just size, it was the design philosophy. More chrome, more bulk, more flash. But the result was a bloated, overpriced car that couldn't keep up with more balanced competitors. Buick sold only about 400 units before killing off the model in 1959. The Limited became a textbook case of what happens when style smothers substance. Number 7. Cadillac Eldorado, 1955. Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz. In the golden age of American glitz, Cadillac was the ultimate symbol of wealth and style. And the Eldorado Biarritz. It was the crown jewel, priced at over $6,200 when new, nearly $70 today. This was a car built not for driving pleasure, but for making statements. At first glance, the Eldorado Biarritz was a masterpiece. Towering tail fins, gleaming chrome, a stylish two-door convertible form. But look closer, and the cracks start to show. Despite its V8 331 Ci engine with 270 horsepower, the car was too heavy to be quick. Its wide body and low stance made urban driving a chore. The biggest issue, you paid for looks, but got no real innovation. No groundbreaking tech, no superior performance, just flash. And that flash came with a price. Gold trim, leather seats, and custom parts meant maintenance was expensive and replacement parts rare. The Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz was undoubtedly a status symbol, but it also represented the idea of buying luxury for image, not substance. A visual showstopper, yes, but ultimately a lavish toy built for show, not for real-world satisfaction. Ford Skyliner Retractable Number 6, 1957. Ford Skyliner Retractable. Imagine driving a car that transforms from coupe to convertible at the push of a button. In the 1950s, that sounded like science fiction. But Ford brought it to life with the Skyliner Retractable, the world's first mass-produced car with a fully electric retractable hardtop. Behind the spectacle, though, was a web of headaches. The Skyliner's roof system was a mechanical marvel. 7 electric motors, 6 locking mechanisms, 4 lift jacks, and nearly 600 ft of wiring. When it worked, it was mesmerizing. But when just one motor failed, the entire system came to a halt. Worse, the folded roof took up nearly the whole trunk. Planning a road trip? Good luck fitting a suitcase. Add to that the extra weight from all the components, and you had a heavier car with worse fuel economy and poorer handling than its conventional Ford siblings. At nearly $3 back then, over $33, so did $2 today, buyers had to ask, is that rooftop ballet really worth all the compromise? The Ford Skyliner retractable stands as a shining example that impressive engineering doesn't always equal market success. Today, it's a beloved collector's oddity, but back then, it served as a warning. When engineers overthink it, drivers end up paying the price. Number 5. Cadillac Eldorado Brom, 1959. Cadillac Eldorado Brom. In 1959, America, the money it took to buy a house, could also buy you a Cadillac Eldorado Brom. With a starting price over $3, back then, nearly $135 today. It was one of the most expensive American cars ever made. So, what made it so pricey? The answer: absolute opulence. The interior featured leather, wool, brushed stainless steel, and even a steel roof with polished chrome. It came with luxuries that bordered on absurd: a custom perfume dispenser, stainless steel cocktail tumblers, and memory-position seats. Every Brum was hand-assembled, giving it a Rolls-Royce aura in an American shell. But beneath that glamorous shell were numerous technical headaches. The air suspension was cutting-edge, but notoriously unreliable. The electric features were fancy, but incredibly hard to service. And the car's weight was so massive that even a powerful V8 struggled to move it confidently. Driving in the city felt awkward, oversized, and unwieldy. Cadillac produced just 99 units of the Eldorado Brom that year. While it remains a rare collectible, it never gained mainstream success because it embodied a flawed idea. Too much luxury isn't always what the buyer actually wants. DeSoto Adventurer number 4, 1956. DeSoto Adventurer. With a name like Adventurer, DeSoto aimed to sell this car as one for thrill seekers, speed lovers craving something bold and new. And to be fair, it looked the part. Sweeping curves, glittering chrome, and flashy two-tone paint made the car visually stunning. Sadly, speed was only skin-deep. The rest couldn't keep up. Marketed as a high-performance coupe to rival the Corvette and Thunderbird, the Adventurer packed a potent Hemi 58 engine with over 300 horsepower. Impressive on paper. But behind the wheel, it was a different story. Soft suspension, weak brakes, and a heavy frame made the handling feel sloppy, and anything but sporty. Buyers expecting a true muscle coupe ended up with a car that looked fast but drove like a family cruiser. That disconnect between hype and reality was fatal. In the booming 1950s performance market, the Adventurer just didn't deliver where it counted, and it faded quickly into the background. Today, the Adventurer is a perfect reminder that if you promise speed, the steering wheel better back it up. Number Lincoln Continental, Mark III, 3-1958. Lincoln Continental, Mark III. Some cars make you feel like royalty behind the wheel, but the Mark III, it made you feel like you were captaining a battleship. Stretching nearly 20 feet long and weighing over 5,001 lbs, the Lincoln Continental Mark III was the definition of excess in both form and function. Lincoln aimed to challenge Cadillac with a top-tier luxury model. They packed it with features that were impressive for the time: 6-way power seats, power trunk, power windows. On paper, it was cutting edge, but in reality, everything was too heavy, too fragile, or both. The blocky design, stubby tail fins, and tank-like front end made the Mark III look more like a fortress than a luxury car. And when it came to driving, its massive 430 cubic in V8 couldn't overcome the weight, or the shockingly poor fuel economy. With a price tag nearing $6, $0 over $65, $0 today, the Mark III competed head-to-head with the Cadillac Eldorado, but lacked the refinement to win that battle. Today, the Mark III isn't remembered for its success, but for representing an era when automakers believed bigger automatically meant better. And they were wrong.